So Warthunder fan leaks classified military documents to win an argument about tanks again. Again?
Yeah, it's not the first time.
So the Warthunder forums see many arguments about the accuracy of otherwise particular hardware. This weekend saw one French Leclerc main battle tank and its variants, which at one stage got down to the exact speed of rotation of the tank's turret. Oh my God. Decided to try and win an argument by, under the title of secret document, posting portions of the gunner manual for the Leclerc to prove their point. Let's talk about being a stupid fucking private. Shortly after, Fear Not, who is believed to be the commander, a commander. Moral of the story is operational security, guys.
Yeah, OPSEC.
OPSEC is fucking stop leaking classified documents in forums of video games.
Exactly.
What are your thoughts on violating OPSEC, First Sergeant? Yeah, roger that. And we're back with the Blacklisted Gaming Podcast. This is episode 67 with our special guest, Tim from GruntStyle.
Welcome, Tim.
Welcome, Tim. Glad to see you're here. Tim is 6 foot something and definitely taller than I am. So
thank you for your contribution.
Nelson was going to be here, but he's going to be running a little bit late. So in the meantime, we've got Tim today to kind of chime in on everything. So glad to have you here, Tim, and I hope to have you more on the podcast.
Good talk.
Thanks, First Sergeant. Anyway, so we got to cut this one a little tight today, and the reason why
all the episodes to cut tight, though, I'm disappointed that this is the one.
It wasn't originally going to be this one, and the only reason why it is this one is because I have to pick up my mama, and yeah, I'll call her by what I call her, mama.
That's fine.
I got to pick mama up from the airport. She's coming back from Florida today, so.
Well, people want to come here from Florida.
She went to visit her brother in Florida.
I'd rather just
My cousin got married 2 weeks ago.
Florida.
My cousin got married 2 weeks ago. So because she went to the wedding, she went with her brother down to Florida, and she just stayed there for like 2 weeks. So because of that, now she's flying back, and my sister, tomorrow's her birthday. So today she was going out, and she wanted to, oh, by the way, happy birthday, Sarah. So she wanted to, I switched hours for her so that she can not worry about missing out on birthday celebrations. So, plus now I'm working fucking 5 to 2 on Saturdays anyway now. So
it's not that bad.
It's not bad, but it still sucks because Friday I got to go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night so I can get up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work. But anyway. So this week we do have a lot to talk about, but I actually cut the topics a little bit short from everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I'm on a very restricted timeline. So in the meantime, this is the topics that we got going on. So the DFEH, as you remember, they're the guys that were suing Activision, like for the the misconduct in the workplace. What has come to light is that the DFEH is now being accused of ethics violations amid the lawsuit.
You know why that is?
No.
So two of the people.
Does it have something to do with the attorneys from Activision?
No. So two of the people that are in California, you know the settlement, the one that they settled.
Yeah.
So that was
the EEO one.
Yeah, that was federal. So two people that used to work for that organization are now in California, and they're part of the DFEH, and they had started that original negotiation that was settled. So the reason that they're being accused of the ethics violation is because they work for DFEH now, and they kind of just took that over there and kind of started their own investigation as a part of them. So it's getting good.
All good things.
It's getting good.
So that's gonna be interesting. So we're gonna talk about the Battlefield beta and our thoughts on this.
I enjoyed it.
I did not.
We know. Every game we heard about it.
Honestly, listen, I am not alone in my opinion on this.
I mean, you never will be in these days.
But usually my opinions on what I'm noticing in a game don't usually align with the majority. And it seems like this time it does. Like I often fall in the minority of people that don't like it, or that point out these certain issues. So we're going to talk about all the issues that I found, and it's been issues that everyone's talking about that is hugely problematic, and also this argument
hugely.
this argument, like it is fucking huge. Come on, you mean to tell me? Hang on, I gotta change the zoom on my camera. You mean to tell me that you don't think the missing aspects of this game are a problem?
We barely know anything about this game from that beta. There was one fucking map.
Then there's that argument that this beta is an old build, and it's actually come to light that no, it's not. This is a September build.
I don't believe it. I don't believe anything until the game comes out because I'm thinking it's gonna be a good game.
We'll talk more about it, but I have a point to give on this, and it is held true with every single fucking game that's ever had a beta like this. Okay?
We'll see.
So anyway, Warthunder players, and I find this absolutely both. There's a hair in my microphone.
Oh god.
I find this both unsurprising yet baffling at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
So Warthunder players have been leaking classified documents online.
To win arguments.
Yes, to win arguments. The dumbest fucking reason you could ever want to fucking win an argument or to leak classified documents, to win an online argument against players, to prove their point about whatever equipment they're using in the game.
It's the most 2021 thing that I've ever heard.
It truly is. Tim, what do you think about that? First, you don't approve, right? That's against OPSEC?
Yeah, see?
I mean, look at his face.
Yeah.
He's 100%.
He's clearly disappointed.
This one, actually, it's funny that this one, the Nintendo one, came up because...
Where'd you get that one? I hadn't heard that one yet.
So a couple months ago, Nintendo had their you know how every like studio has like a games conference type thing where they showcase everything. Nintendo had theirs, and it was one when we talked about how Chris Pratt was being cast as Mario. It was during that event. They mentioned that they have an expansion coming out for their Nintendo Switch Online service. But they didn't reveal any details of it, like what comes with it, the price, how much of a price hike it's going to be. Well, they didn't do it for a very good reason, and the reason why is because it is more than 50% higher for this expansion, and it doesn't come with hardly anything. It comes with a handful of N64 titles. Not all N64 titles, a handful.
Probably not
so
even
the
good ones.
price isn't even justified for what it is. And a lot of people are like, oh, that makes sense. Nintendo not giving what the fucking consumers want and then hiking the price. And it's like, we'll dive into the numbers on this. But the numbers are pretty insane considering what it is that they're fucking offering. Because everyone's saying, well, the Games Pass offers significantly more, including new titles.
If it doesn't have the original Smash Bros., I don't care.
Essentially, what it might, I don't know. Essentially, what it is that the price does not justify the content that's given. So, in crazy news,
Is it
it is crazy because when the news popped out, everyone's like, "I'll believe it when I see it." But Call of Duty has revealed that they have an anti-cheat coming in November called Ricochet. It's a kernel driver anti-cheat, which I'll dive into that because I don't even know what the fuck that means.
So basically, kernel driver is what I've learned is kernel driver is actually the most basic level of anti-cheat, and it's also what all the other anti-cheats use. So like Apex Legends and all of them, they're kernel level drivers. They're just using fancy terms to make it seem like it's this new fucking amazing thing that they've built. But the majority of cheats, it's literally base level of an anti-cheat. They're just making it sound super amazing.
Shocker. Well, its news was very short-lived as cheat companies have what's the one that was trolling fucking Treyarch on engine owning. They were trolling on Twitter about it, but apparently
because they at Raven Software like every single time.
Apparently the anti-cheat, the kernel driver, the source code, and everything was allegedly leaked to these cheat companies, and they've already reverse engineered it.
And I've got some good counters to that too that I'd mentioned to you as well.
Your counters were good, and I've heard that happening before. However, there's evidence been shown that the cheat companies really do have the source code and really are.
That's what I mean. It could be completely fake code.
Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. That's I'm eager to see how it plays out when
the
it
tweet
releases.
that brought that up had mentioned that a reliable source inside of like the studio has been saying that someone inside the studio fucking leaked the source code.
Or now, to me, it just seems too. It also seems too convenient, and almost like what people would expect. You see what I mean?
I think it's more than convenient because if you see what's going on with Activision and how they treat their employees,
That could be too. Yeah.
like
See that?
I can easily see a disgruntled employee being like, "Fuck Activision, we're gonna stick it to them in the way that we know how."
It's a good point on it. I like it.
So and that's why I don't think this is what you think it is. I think this is real.
I think it could.
I think it's real because of that.
I think it's gonna go either way.
Well,
It'll be interesting to
Activision's
see.
been fucking over their developers for how long?
Yeah.
It would not surprise me in the least that you had yourself a legit fucking leak. So,
When I'm eager to see when it comes out because it's not being. Is it being implemented when Vanguard comes out or with the
Yes.
integration of Warzone?
I don't know. We'll look into that
'Cause
more. I got to find that out.
Because I've heard both, where it's supposed to be when Vanguard comes out, but I've also heard that it's not supposed to be until the integration with Warzone.
It might actually be that because
But the integration with Warzone is supposed to be like damn near the same time. Because they're not waiting until like January for that one.
I don't know. First Arm, what do you think? All right.
Yeah, see? Like,
Yeah,
He's
his
got a good
look
point.
of disapproval, like with the way, like, how do you think Activision is doing with their handling of Call of Duty? First Arm. All right.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, in other news with EA, one of the greediest companies on the greediest title,
Among anything.
EA may lose its FIFA license in 2022 amid over a contract renewal price.
Didn't I send that to you like a while back too?
I actually heard about this earlier in the week.
I think I might have seen it.
Oh, so EA has been in talks about rebranding FIFA. Hang on,
That might have been what it was.
I got.
I thought I had sent something about
God
something
damn
similar
it.
to this. I don't remember.
Now my grandma's showing up, gonna be coming back early.
Oh, early.
Yes. Her flight keeps getting pushed sooner and sooner. I'm like, delay.
How do you delay it? Come on.
So anyway, I mean, I love Mama and all, but I mean, Daddy's got some things to do. This is my side hustle, okay? So they were in talks about rebranding, and this was the rebranding talks were on the heels of the fact that their contract with FIFA ends this year. So like going into 22, the contract is up for renewal. So they were talking about a potential rebrand of the FIFA game, and FIFA has actually, and they still need to go through FIFA to get the rights to use the likeness, the stadiums, the players' likeness, the stadiums of across
Names
the world,
and all that shit.
all that shit. So they need to negotiate a renewal for the rights to that. Well, FIFA gave them a number of what they want for this, and it's granted it's not for just the year; it's for a 4-year contract, so it's extended over 4 years. It's not just like they want this price for this one-time renewal, like for the year. They want this for the next 4 years. So, and it's pretty nuts.
It's the same fucking game literally every year anyway.
I know. I don't know why people keep buying these sports games. Especially Madden.
Oh, I think it was Madden that I had sent you.
Yeah, it was Madden. Like Madden had,
That's right.
People have been hating on Madden, and they have been for a couple years.
It was
Even
the
worse-
coach thing. That's what it was.
Oh, John Gruden.
Yeah, they
Getting
were
deleted out.
they-
Yeah, I was going to include
That's
that,
right.
but I mean, like, I feel like these topics are a lot more hikey, and we could just save that for the next episode.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a topic that's not going to go away anytime soon. So.
Well, the
Sorry, I'm fucking with my.
the hazard zone for the next one. How
Oh.
it's gonna be.
We can also add that in the Battlefield news I have.
That's right.
So.
How it's not gonna be free. Stupidest fucking decision they could have ever had.
Are you surprised?
Yeah, actually. Because I really thought that was gonna be their like free to play version, and it was gonna be their competition with Warzone, and that they had learned from Firestorm.
Sorry, my frame rate on my camera was really bad.
Oh, I was like, hi.
No, this is how I test the frame rate. Like if I get all blurry and shit, like it's just anyway. Adding this third camera has been kind of a bitch. Anyway, so in Regiment news, we have new game leads for Apex, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Halo, and Star Citizen. Can you elaborate on this one?
I just didn't put. So basically, people that are gonna be like the clan leads or the group lead, however the game calls it, but the regiment lead for that. So bringing people into it, giving them the access to be in that group. So like COD has the regiments, they're giving them the access to be into that. I just didn't include their names in it because it just took longer to type it. But it's in regiment. It's in their announcements. And then Chris is at the IW New York City hike right now.
saw this. Has the hike today or tomorrow?
It's today. Like, as we speak right now.
Oh, he should be wrapping up now.
Or probably pretty close. Well, they might actually
Have you asked him how he's thought of it so far?
I sent him a message to ask him how he likes it. I haven't got anything back yet. But they're either
I would be shocked if he didn't have a good time.
Oh, I know. They're either close to not... They're either close to being done or they're at the end or like the after party, stuff like that. Because they're an hour ahead.
Speaking of regiment stuff, I actually got some news about the mod shit.
Ooh.
And basically they're nixing that.
What do you mean?
Apparently, what I was told is that Chris is no longer looking at them because they're already overstaffed for mods.
Oh, gotcha.
So, I guess I'm out.
Things will change as we grow.
I know. I really wanted to be a mod, but I mean, next time, I guess, I guess when the opportunities open up, I'd like to be considered.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, Reverend Warriors news. I had a meeting with Tiltify last week.
Oh, how did that go?
It was pretty good. I got to know why we're not showing up on TikTok, like on the Tiltify for nonprofits, because they're in a beta phase. So basically,
I see Vet TV on there though.
They're not nonprofit; they shouldn't be on there.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's on the Tiltify extension.
You're right. I meant to say just on TikTok.
No, we're on TikTok, but for people to like select nonprofit organizations, so if people wanted to donate to that person or something,
there's no link or nothing.
Yeah, so we don't show up on there. So I found out that they're basically just in a beta phase because they're still growing with TikTok, and they've only got like 100 organizations on there. So when they start getting out of that beta phase and expanding, our page is already up on Tiltify, so we're good to go once that starts expanding. But they're going to be showcasing us on their blog for Veterans Day.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited for that.
I got reported at work.
I can only imagine.
So I got reported at work for apparently people have thought that I have an attitude problem.
Sounds like civilian bullshit.
It essentially is. So like what they said was
he hurt my feelings.
Boo! So what they said was I rubbed them the wrong way. I rubbed them the wrong way, and I tend to slam the door.
You should start rubbing them the right way.
I'm like, the door, one, doesn't close all the way very well unless you slam it sometimes. And for two, if both doors are open, because there's a front and back door, when the back door is open with the front door, as I'm closing it, it slams the fucking door. I don't mean to.
I'm upset that we're even explaining this right now.
I know. And it's just like, basically, I had to get a talking to today. And
imagine reporting someone because they slammed the door and hurt your feelings.
Well, they thought that I was giving attitude towards them. But the truth is, I'm like, no, I'm just kind of like droning through the day.
Like, suck it the fuck up.
Well, so essentially what it is like I'm just droning through the day for starters, and like me slamming the door is just miscommunication.
Is it impacting their day? Is it impacting their work?
No, but what they could do is they could actually take this up higher, which they've done before to people, but not for little shit like this.
Quit being a fucking bitch. Talk to someone. If someone hurt your feelings, be like, yo, bro. You got a problem with? Is it me? Did I upset you?
So
no, I'm gonna report you.
They could essentially report me to their personal boss, and they could get me fired.
I'm not gonna last in this civilian world.
And let me tell you something, man. You'll be doing me a favor.
Yes, it's pretty true.
You'll be doing me a favor.
Collecting that fucking paycheck.
But okay, so let's dive into the nitty gritty, guys. So
since Granny's coming here early,
all right. First, Arn, you ready to go through these topics?
He looks like he's been ready.
I think he's just over it.
I feel like he's just disappointed at all the bullshit. Clearly, he's disappointed at the person that's reporting you. Like, really,
he's disappointed in everything. He like even on the Reverend Warrior hikes, he's looking at everyone just like you fucking. This is the easiest hike you're ever gonna do. Fucking stop being a bitch and and beat your feet. Let's go. All right, so let's talk about the DFEH.
I hate acronyms.
I mean, what are you gonna fucking do? Except
Say the whole acronym.
fucking. I guess I'll accept the cookies. So, all right.
I like cookies.
Top is in the middle.
What's in the middle?
Top's in the middle.
Where's top? Oh,
Top.
sorry.
Top is an Army term for first sergeant.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
All right, so here, let me zoom in a little bit so we can actually read this.
How is it with the PC now?
Streaming and gaming on the PC has been a problem.
Really? With gaming. Yeah.
I had frame drops, choppiness, and come to find out, I think it's an easier fix than I thought it would be. It has nothing to do with my bit rate. It has everything to do with the fact that so how it works on PC. Oh shit, there's first aren't. So how it works on PC is that if you are running OBS and playing a game, what Windows will do is it will prioritize your CPU and GPU to the game first, and OBS gets whatever's left.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm sorry.
So you need to run it as an administrator.
Yes. Well, okay, so it's basically the GPU is fighting itself on which one gets priority.
Yeah.
If you run OBS as administrator, it runs sources to OBS first and then to the GPU for the game. It runs the OBS first and then to the game. Also, there's a few settings because there's a NSYNC or whatever the fuck it's called, and not NSYNC.
NVIDIA.
It's in NVIDIA. I can't remember what the exact name, but basically it's like another driver that it can use. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm butchering this fucking PC terms. I'm new to this.
The NVIDIA drivers.
Sue me.
Just drivers. Nobody else calls them.
So, there's another thing that you can also add to like where it runs with that third driver, and it's not using as much resources to power both. So you have your CPU and your GPU, which are running both on both programs, if you include the game and OBS.
Okay.
So it was being choppy, and like I was playing squad, and my stream was my stream crashed, and then like everything just started going to shit. My game wasn't performing very well, and I was just like, dude, what the fuck is going on right now? And apparently what I read was like if you're playing on PC and streaming on the same PC, you need to run OBS as an administrator, and then kind of go through some settings in your advanced settings on OBS to even that out. Because here I was this whole time fucking with the bit rate. What'd you drop? Coaster? So I was sitting here fucking around with the bit rate over and over again. I even lowered my bit rate to like 2,000, and it was still chopping out. And I'm like, I don't want to lower my bit rate that low. It's too fucking low. So, I mean, the other thing is, I think there might be an issue with my modem. Well, no, there's not, because
your internet.
I'm getting a gigabit per fucking second out of my modem when it comes to like connection speed. So there really shouldn't be a problem.
What was the speed test after you reset your modem?
It was like 240 megabits per second download and like 11 upload.
It's not bad. I think that the minimum to do streaming is like
it's
4 or 6. I think
it's low. Like it's 4 upload at least. And I know that I like even with Alicia playing, like I get more than 4. I get at least 7.
It's better than the 40 that you had before.
The 40 megabytes download?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
I was like, why the fuck is it so slow?
That was horrendous.
But yeah. Anyway, back to the top.
I'm just excited for the Discord thing.
Yeah, once I get that rolling out.
We'll have to test an episode. Like I'll just stay home and we can test it.
Yeah. So new information pertaining to the settlement between Activision Blizzard and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has unveiled potential ethical violations that may impact a wider lawsuit. The wider lawsuit.
I thought you said a whiter lawsuit. Like, okay.
Wider. WIDER.
Not white. Okay, got it.
A document filed last week by the EEOC spotted that by PC Gamer points out that 2 leading lawyers in the suit filed by Department of Employment and Housing in California also previously worked for the EEOC and specifically investigated Activision Blizzard prior to the $18 million settlement made last week between the 2 parties to resolve charges of discrimination, which we covered last week.
Yeah.
If this is proven to be true, it is a conflict of interest, a violation of attorney ethics, and a breach of the California rules of professional conduct, according to the filing. Specifically, two DFEH attorneys who play leadership roles within the organization previously served as the EEOC, who helped direct the EEOC's investigation into commissioner's charge number blah, blah, blah against Activision Blizzard. I didn't want to read all that. These same attorneys then proceeded to represent DFEH in connection to those intervention proceedings which seek to oppose the consent decree and arose out of the very investigation they helped to direct while at the EEOC.
That's so crazy.
So essentially, they just, if I read this right, when they worked for the EEOC, they took their findings while working with the EEOC and carried them over to the DFEH.
Yep.
Which they're not allowed to do.
Correct.
This has to be a completely new thing for them in order for it to even like hold up.
Yep. And basically, it's still a conflict of interest regardless because one, it's two separate areas, and one's already been settled as well.
Yes.
So
this might have actually fucked the whole case.
Oh yeah.
And Activision might get away with it.
Because you can't.
This is no small thing. This
No.
is no small. This is like a make or break in the case.
You can't falsify that. Like if they worked there, there's those records, and then when they're employed somewhere else, there's obviously those records. Like you can't. Those are so hardcore facts that you can't change that in any way. Like it's not a he said she said thing. It's like they worked there. We have their fucking pay stubs.
All right. So the EEOC's documents also notes the DFEH brought in new counsel, filed an appeal just hours afterwards, which suggests that the lawyers in question may still have been involved with the motion. So they were involved in two different motions.
They're really fucking... What? Who touched them? Who hurt them?
I don't know. After being informed of this conflict, the DFEH retained new counsel, but appears to have filed the present intervention motion just hours after this counsel was retained, strongly suggesting that the motion is a product of the prohibited representation. It continues.
What if they used to be like big COD fans or something, that a game that Activision did, and like they fucked Bobby Kotick or something, and he was like, "Bitch, get out of my hotel room now." Or like they fucked a developer that like let them in on the outside. Now they're like, you know what? I'm fucking taking you and your whole damn company down.
Who knows? Who knows? So for this reason, the intervention motion should be disallowed by the DFEH attorneys should be barred from providing work product or advising new counsel in connections with these intervention proceedings. So so that might not have hurt the case. It might have hurt the case in ways, but if anything, it hurt those attorneys.
I think it's going to hurt the entire case.
I think it's going to hurt the case
because too. If you think about it, any of the evidence or stuff that they brought into it is pretty much going to be from the previous case. So essentially, you have to throw anything out that was collected previously because of that violation, which is the same in like any court case, really. Like if there's a issue with a lawyer like that, basically everything that they find is null and void. You're not even allowed to use it.
First round, what do you think of these attorneys' dumbassness? Yahoo. Anyway, so the document also highlights that after being questioned about the conflict of interest by the EEOC counsel, the two attorneys disconnected from this call. Oh, no! Hey, so
I'm going through a tunnel.
What's up? We've noticed that you've been kind of representing two different motions here, which leaves a conflict of interest, and you seem to be involved with that. Can you explain? Boop. Like, okay.
I'm going through a tunnel.
This reminds me of that lieutenant colonel that was on the phone with the general, and like when they said you don't have Army approval for this jump. Oh, I can't hear you, sir. I'm in a tunnel. Click. Fuck that guy. So the EEOC's filing concludes that in the event of the ethics violation, all DFEH attorneys should remain banned from representing the case, and calls the suit lodged by the DFEH a product of prohibited representation. There can be no claim that there was timely isolation of these lawyers from any participation of representing the DFEH in connection with the intervention proceedings, as well as would be necessary to show that timely screening took place. It says, thus, all DFEH attorneys were and should remain barred from representing the DFEH in this manner. Last week, the DFEH raised objections to the agreement and said that the $18 million settlement would involve employees releasing Activision Blizzard from claims under California state law. It also said that settling also undermines its own case against the company, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
DFEH's pending enforcement and actions against Activision Blizzard will be harmed by uninformed waivers, and proposed decree makes conditional for victims to obtain relief. The DFEH said as part of the objection. So I'm not a lawyer, and I don't understand legal jargon. So with that, I will say this. From what it sounds like to me, the case is about to get fucked.
Oh, yeah. I think so, too.
Which is unfortunate. Like I said as the title of the last episode, money makes the lawsuit go away. Money makes the lawsuit disappear.
Or conflict of interest.
Even still, them fucking settling in the first place. It's I knew as soon as I saw that settlement and for how low it was, it had me thinking off the rip like, Activision's gonna walk away from this. And with this new conflict of interest thing, it really is going to look like that this cocksucker is going to walk away with this.
The thing is, we can't even blame Activision for that. It's literally
it's not.
lawyers.
It's not their fault. It's
100% these lawyers' fault.
Yeah, it's the lawyer's fault. It's almost like the Cosby case, in a way. Not the same situation, but the district attorney, fucking. Nah, it's not at all like the Cosby case. I'm a retard. I don't even know what I'm saying.
The first step is accepting it.
Yeah, I know. So let's talk about the Battlefield beta.
I enjoyed it. I know every game that we played, they're like, "You guys fucking trash."
Okay, so
fucking trash.
Damn it, I keep fucking that up. So here's my argument with this. Okay,
I'm listening.
The missing assets that you've seen in every single Battlefield, and there's even a video out there showing what Battlefield 5 had versus what this one has, and also showing what Battlefield 4 had that this one doesn't have. I said that wrong. What Battlefield 5 has that this does not have, and what Battlefield 4 has and what this does not have. So I'll point this out because me, being a big sniper person in this, I have noticed that you cannot change your zero when sniping.
I'm going to equate that as we barely had any access to any of the settings or scopes, let alone other attachments. We had 2 attachments.
Here's what else. I'm hoping that that's what that is. That there were certain things that they did not include because it's going to be in the final product. That's okay. If I worry that they don't have it and it's not going to be a thing because they're trying to do something different. Because they've been talking about like, oh, we're going to change the way the franchise is and stuff. And in what I have noticed and what a lot of people have noticed, now I have conflicting thoughts about, one, the movement. The movement, I like how the movement feels.
I'm not a fan of the slide, though. I
Slide
don't like the slide.
I like the slide, but I don't like how far you can slide. I think it should be like Insurgency, where you slide for a bit just to get the cover. You shouldn't be able to fucking Apex Legends slide across the fucking map.
Or you got to build up that momentum.
Build the momentum, and it's like you can't slide cancel.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, you can slide cancel.
Yeah.
And it is not a thing that Battlefield has ever fucking had.
Yeah, I didn't like that when I noticed that.
And then people are also slide canceling along with the grappling hook. Because as of right now, the specialist that has the grappling hook, and I've been watching TikTok videos and all of these other videos about this with the movement and stuff, people are combining the slide canceling with the grappling hook, and it's making them fucking like bolt across maps.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
And not even just bolt across maps. Like there's this thing they call the bunny hop, where they fucking swing like Tarzan, and then slide cancel and jump and slide cancel and jump and slide cancel and jump, and they literally slide from where that tall building is to the rocket. And it's like that. They're over there. And it's like, dude, that is fucking not Battlefield.
It's all PC people. I almost guarantee
it.
Just the way the capability is with being able to do it.
You can do it on controller. You can definitely do it on console.
It's probably harder.
I've seen it happen. It happened. I've seen it happen.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's harder.
I don't think it is. I think it's just as easy to do. I mean, once you figure out how to do it, yes. Until then, like, yeah, it's gonna be hard. But once you figure that out, it's not gonna be hard because I've seen people doing it. I can't tell you how many times I was shooting at. And the other thing, the bullet drop, which was whatever. I mean, that's cool. The velocity is good. The one thing I noticed is that every single gun is basically a hit scan. You don't have to like account for velocity and drop anymore. You can almost fucking like full auto hit scan with almost any gun at a range, and it doesn't matter. Like, that is not a thing that's ever been a thing in Battlefield. Like, you can't just run with an LMG and full auto fire at someone 100-something meters away or more and laser them the way that I was getting lasered in these games.
100 meters isn't that far.
100 meters in game relation is pretty far, especially when you have all the movements and stuff and you're bobbing and weaving trying to avoid it. I've noticed that at 100 meters up to 300 and even more, people were fucking lasering me with assault rifles and machine guns at full auto, and it's because the way the gunplay is, they've changed to where there isn't really much recoil anymore. So, like, the guns don't feel like you need to be careful about your distance of engagement because everything is a hit scan. And I didn't like that at all. That does not feel like a Battlefield game in that essence. And you got to think, I heavily played Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 and a little bit of 5 leading up to this, just so that I can get used to it and then feel the difference between those and this, if there were any differences. Like, okay, so how different is it? What is this one bringing to the table? What is gone? What is not? What is there? What has been improved upon? So I played nothing but Battlefield leading into this, so that I could get that feel and see the different things, because when you think about Battlefield 4, it's like, oh, you remember things, but you don't remember how it felt. So when you play the game and you actually spend a lot of time with it, and you're messing around with all the different mechanics that are in the game, including the movement and the gunplay and all the other features in the game, I can compare them very closely now versus when someone was like, last time I played Battlefield 4 was in 2018 or whatever the fuck. And now I'm playing this, and the thing is, I noticed this. People that haven't played Battlefield in a while that play this actually like it. I mean, aside from you've been playing like Battlefield 1 and shit.
I played 4 too.
You played 5. You haven't played
more 5 than I want to.
You didn't play 4 that as much as like everything else. So
yeah, but I played it a good amount though. It's not like I haven't played it at all or played it once or twice.
In relation to the gunplay, the one thing I noticed, and this will probably get fixed, are the hitboxes.
Yeah.
It seems like there are so many times where I know that I fucking had a line of sight on the target, was shooting the target, he was right in my fucking sights, and the hits were very inconsistent. And then they just eat me alive. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's another problem I've noticed.
I think my main thing is, while I love how big it is and everything, I have two main issues. I love how big it is, but I think it's too big and there's too many people. Like, it sounds like a great thing to do. Like, yeah, fucking all these people.
Bigger isn't always better.
It's just, the reason I don't like it is because I saw one of my friends did a video about this, and it made me think, like, yeah, that's actually kind of like why I don't like it. Is it doesn't encourage squad play.
I was actually about to get into this.
Because you just see people just running around. Even when you're in a squad, you guys are doing some shit. You guys are working together. The rest of the fucking team is likely to be just doing whatever the fuck they want.
So I was going to actually get into this and align this with the what you were saying with like the maps being too big. One thing I've noticed is that the way that this map was, there was sections of the map that were the hottest, and dead space all over the place in between.
I think every map is going to be like that. Like, you just can't help it.
You can't help it if they're large, yes. But there were also really big maps in Battlefield 4 that it had dead spots, but the dead spots weren't as vast as this one was. They didn't feel... Well, of course. This one felt like they were larger, like where it felt like there was more dead space than hot spots. Whereas Battlefield 4, I haven't played much of 5, and Battlefield 1...
Battlefield 5 is fucking horrendous.
So there was a lot of hot spots and very few dead spaces. Where in this one, it's the opposite. There's a lot of dead spaces and very few hot spots. And this goes also... I'm also going to bring up the specialist shit. And you talking about squad play. I noticed that the way that they design these specialists, and I'm not even talking about it at a visual standpoint, which I'll get into. The fact that you can run as a sniper...
And have anything
with an ammo box, every operator, every specialist can have
anything.
Can have anything.
Yep.
So you don't need to rely on a squad mate. So like whereas all the other battlefields before this, you had to think about what you had in your squad. Okay, if you want to be a sniper, cool, you have all these little things. And then they also had like the squad upgrades in Battlefield 4 where like the better you did, like your squad ranked up, you had a squad upgrade of ammo, reduction of damage to explode.
5 did the stuff similar to that too.
So, and I like that system because it was like and you could pick them in your loadout. Which one do you want to run? Do you want to have and suppression. There is no suppression mechanic.
I hate suppression.
You hate it. I get it. But at the same time, it's important because when you're like in Battlefield 4, I think it was a little bit too much because like
it was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I think they needed to just kind of play with that and fine tune it a little more. But to completely take it away defeats the purpose of even being a support gunner. Your whole point, the reason why the suppression mechanic was even a thing, is for that like you have a guy that's suppressing fire so that your team can or your squad can maneuver to a point. If you're suppressing that guy, his shots aren't going to be accurate, which is realistic. If you're getting fucking shot at by fully automatic machine gun fire and like if you're getting direct contact, you're not going to be shooting as accurately. So that was why the suppression mechanic was a good thing to have because you have that. They took that away. So you can shoot all you fucking want at somebody. They can still laser you.
At least in the beta
it
was taken away.
And that doesn't seem like a mechanic that is going to be in the full game if it's not in the beta. That seems to be a pretty big mechanic. It's like almost embedded into the game's code to have a mechanic like that. Little things like adjusting your zero for your snipers and shit, I can understand they're getting added later. But Battlefield 4's beta had that. Battlefield 4's beta had that was like one of the things because it was a new thing they added. And they had the suppression in the betas. All the betas have had suppression. All the betas have had changing your zeros and sniper rifles. This is the only one that has not had any of that, which has me. That's why I'm concerned that this isn't going to be in the game. They took that away.
I think the reason it's not, I think, is because of the way that they've got the attachment system now. They were trying to ultimately just showcase that as like that's one of the changes that you can change stuff on the fly.
I would see that point if it were for the fact that this is not as old of a beta build as EA has been saying it is. This is actually like they've been saying, oh, this is like from earlier in the year, when in actuality it's been allegedly said that this is actually from last month. Like this is a beta build from last month.
Still don't believe speculation though until the game comes out.
We'll see when the game comes out, but I'm going to call it right now that these are mechanics that are not going to be in the game, and a lot of people are going to be pissed. Battlefield players, like hardcore Battlefield players, hate this one.
I still think people are going to be pissed regardless. And one of my friends that I play competitive with him. He has a pretty good channel as far as Battlefield stuff goes, and he's pretty analytical. He gets really deep on stuff. I like his perspective on a lot of things, or at least his explanation of things. His thing on the specialist, I really liked because the way that they're going about it seems as his kind of fix for it is to where, let's say they want to keep the way the specialists are and anyone can have whatever, to one of them to cancel one out. So like if you want to
everyone can't run the same fucking thing.
So like if you want to be a engineer with a health crate, right? That would take away from being able to use the special ability of whatever he's got, right? Or like let's say the grapple hook guy, because he's the most commonly fucking used one.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to use, I don't remember what his main one would have had, but most people either ran ammo or medic crate or something. But if you wanted to use one that wasn't part of that class, it would cancel out the special ability. So I'm like, okay, I can see that. So if you wanted to sacrifice special ability to have, like, say, an ammo crate or medic with that
something
class
outside of that class.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you would cancel out the special ability. You would take that risk of saying, hey, I don't need this special ability, or I'd rather have this. And I'm like, okay, it's a fair trade-off.
Yeah, and the whole thing that they have it set up right now, it completely disregards squad play.
Yeah, it doesn't have, and just the sheer largeness of it disregards squad play ever, because you can't expect, their expectation is that it's so big that, and with the weapon of, like, you can shoot people from a distance and revive them.
The
and
medical
shit.
gun, yeah.
And they're basically trying to enforce squad play and team play, and it's the opposite because everyone can do whatever they want. Most of the time, people aren't going to do things that's best for the team. They're going to do things that's best for themselves.
So they made the medic that can shoot the healing gun. They made it sound like that medic can revive from a distance, which is not what it does.
Yeah, it's only heal.
It heals.
Yeah, you start to go up to them.
Everyone can revive you. The only thing that the medic one does, which is honestly kind of fucking useless, is they could shoot this little dart that heals you, and they can heal themselves.
Yeah. I don't like the everyone can revive you. I still only like the aspect of if I like that. Like when 5 did it, their squad can revive you. It's just slower, unless you're a medic.
Yes.
And all medics can revive you. I like that aspect.
That was implemented because of Battlefield 1.
I know.
Because the medics would abandon you.
Yeah.
So they made it to where your whole squad can heal you. It's going to be slower than a medic. Yeah. They should have kept that. And they
I agree.
And they did.
I think they should have.
Another issue I've noticed with the specialists is that everybody in the game can run those specialists. How many times did we run into dudes that looked exactly like guys on our team, and we couldn't tell the difference? I saw it all the time. And here's another issue: smoke. Everyone's like, "Well, I'll just look for the red marker." Well, the way that the user interface is, the icons over every player are really tiny. They're really small.
Like the red, blue stuff.
It's like orange and blue. And they're really small, and the orange kind of blends in with a lot of the terrain sometimes.
I have colorblindness on, too.
I know you do, because you're colorblind.
Well, yeah.
But, like, for me, like, you know, it's sometimes hard to see the orange one. And another thing happens, if you're in smoke, the icons completely disappear. So you have no idea who the fuck is who.
I don't think I ever paid attention to that.
I did. Because I was shooting
I mean, if you think about it.
I was shooting at my squad mates. And
I think it makes
everyone
sense.
was fucking shooting at each other because no one knew who was who. Whereas every single battlefield up until this one, there was a distinct difference between the enemy and the friendly. Because they looked different.
I feel like in smoke, that would make sense to why they wouldn't have the indicators, though. Because to me, that's fair.
But even still, the smoke isn't thick enough to where you can't get positive ID up close. Right? So if you were an American fighting against the Russians do look significantly different than the Americans, so you know, oh, that is not a friendly teammate, and you could shoot him even if you're in smoke and you're up close to him. But in this, because everybody has access to all the specialists, you don't know who's enemy and who's not when you're in the smoke. You're just fucking shooting at everyone. Now imagine you're in hardcore when that happens.
I'm wondering if that, because I can't imagine that, because none of their games, they've ever had it to where the opposite team looked the exact same as the other team. Like it was something was like whether it was the skin color, the nationality. You could tell the nationality was different.
It wasn't even just the uniform color. It was the entire uniform scheme was different.
Yeah.
So it looked completely different. Like even in Battlefield 1, you had the Ottoman Empire versus whoever the fuck else, and they looked different.
Yeah.
You had the Austro-Hungarian Empire versus the Italians. Sometimes they looked the same. They looked a little close, but they were also different. Like you knew which ones were the fucking Germans and which ones were the Italians and shit, and so on and so forth. So them doing this, it's like you have brought a level of confusion to the game that didn't need to be there and never was there before.
I'm wondering if they only uploaded like one version of the specialist look.
I don't think they
did.
I mean? I don't think. Even still, if you make them look different, they're at the end of the day, they're the same specialist.
Well, yeah, but at least they would look different.
Just because grappling hook guy looks different than the one that you're using doesn't mean. And even still, color differences, like the uniform color differences, it's not enough. It's the entire character model that everyone sees.
That's what I mean. Just in general,
no one's looking at camo pattern. Oh, the Russians have this camo pattern, and the Americans have this camo pattern. Like you can't tell that. Like you're not thinking that in a firefight. Like, oh, his camo is not multicam, so it's not friendly.
I'm saying they can have the same specialist,
They can have the same specialist, but different variant of that specialist.
That's what I mean.
And I don't think that that's a thing. Otherwise, they would have shown that.
I don't think because it's not.
They would have shown that if that was actually a thing. Because I know that there's a lot more specialists than what they've shown.
Because they've never tried. They've never talked about the way the specialists look. They've showcased and talked about having the specialists, abilities.
When they showcased the specialists, they did showcase the way they look. They showcased the ones that they wanted to showcase, but I'm saying that like the fact in the game that you had both sides using those. Why didn't you have 4 different specialists for the enemy if they actually had different character models for that specialist, like the grappling hook guy? Why did they have the same guy on both sides? They've never done that before. That's new. So why would you like showcase that and say like, well, we want everyone to have access to the specialist? Like, okay, cool. Why do they look the same? Oh, well, they're going to look different in the actual game. Okay, why wouldn't you add that? Why would you lead us thinking that everyone's going to look the same? So I don't think that it's in the game.
I think people are looking too deeply into
It's not.
that. Like,
it's not that deep. I mean, it's very noticeable. It's extremely noticeable. And for the mere fact, hang on, I'm trying to make sure Nelson isn't texting. He's not. I don't think he's gonna make it.
he might not.
I guess First Arm's rolling with us. But the fact is that both teams, at least from what they've shown so far, and I highly doubt that it's going to be any different at launch, both teams have access to the same exact specialist. And even though there are going to be more than just the 4 they gave us,
I can't remember how many they said they're going to be.
I think there's going to be 13.
Wow.
That's it.
That's still, I mean, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's also not a lot if you think about you have 120 players.
But look at how Battlefield has only really ever had like 4?
Yeah, I mean those were classes.
Yeah. But so basically,
But they have like 10 or 13 specialists, but you have like I'm getting back to the point of like both teams have this access to the same specialists that look exactly the same.
you know what I noticed? They only put in the specialists that were basically what the classes used to be.
Right. Yes.
To keep things relatively simple.
And to keep it simple, but I mean like I was saying, if they had different variants of those same specialists, why not put them in the beta? They've never not put them in the beta.
I don't know tech stuff enough
Because
to know, honestly.
the medic for the enemy team looked different from the medic on the friendly team. The engineer in the friendly enemy team looked different from the one in the enemy team. So it's like everyone's gonna look the fucking same, and this is also going to be a huge problem when they ever drop hardcore mode, because you are really not going to know who the fuck is who. Because if they model it anything like Battlefield 1 or 5, where you have no friendly icons, it's just positive ID on your target. You got to differentiate between the two. That was the one thing I didn't like about Battlefield 1, but I got used to it, was that in hardcore mode, there is no way to distinguish friend from foe unless you look at the character model and the way the character model.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, you can't. So they've relied on the last 2 Battlefields to have positive ID on the different character models, but now everyone has the same character model. So if you play hardcore mode, everyone looks the fucking same. You don't know who's who. You're either going to die or you're going to kill your teammates. And it's just like, why would you add that? Unless you don't ever plan on doing hardcore mode.
I think a lot of these answers aren't going to be answered until we see the game.
How
much longer we got to it?
I
have it on my
November
calendar.
19th.
Is it?
Yeah,
So
we got about a month.
Like 1 month, yeah. I took leave for that time, too.
I'm sure. I bet you did.
I just took 4 days.
So all of this stuff, and then I want to talk about the user interface. The user interface is probably the most jumbled bag of shit I've ever seen in my life.
What do you mean?
Pulling up like your score sheet, like to see where you rank the kills, like what's going on.
That was confusing to me. Yeah,
it was super confusing. It's like, what is all this extra shit? And it also shows you like the badges you earned, and I'm like, I don't care about that. Show me post game. Like, I want to see how I'm doing. I want to see how the enemy's doing. I want it to be how it was before, the scoreboard, and then switch to map.
Yeah,
and they didn't even have a fucking map in beta.
Yeah, I hated that aspect. That pissed me off.
I'm like, why would you not have a map?
You got to hit the button to figure out where the fuck you're at on the map, or like where to go. I didn't like that.
Like, there's no way to look at the map, like, because there was no map to look at.
Yeah, you couldn't give like a fucking direction or anything like that. I didn't like that. I can't imagine that there's not gonna have the ability to
look at a map,
turn that on, because we didn't have access to all the settings. Because that's usually a setting. Because in the settings you can turn off your map, and you can change the opacity of it.
Yes,
but we couldn't.
You couldn't do
barely
that.
Had any of the settings available.
And I don't know why the fuck they do that. I don't know why they like limit the settings that you can change. Because it's like, if you really want to stress test your game, have all your settings.
I'm telling you, it's gotta be a tech thing because it's like you're taking a whole game and you're taking a sliver of it, and what you can cram into that sliver and also be separate from it, that you there's only got to be a way. There's probably a simpler way to explain it on a mass scale as to why these things aren't able to be in there. But I see it as like you take a sliver of something and you're like, you can't obviously have the whole thing in there.
No.
And that's, to me, that makes sense as to why, like, all right, a lot of these things I want to see how they are. Because whether I like how things are, is I'm going to be able to truly see when the full game comes out. And I'm gonna wait until, like, a couple weeks after, because I know launch on
every Battlefield has been a rough
just every
launch.
game in general. The launch sucks ass because so many people buy it.
And servers
it overloads
crash.
the servers, and like it's not the fault of the people. It's just because it's it's just not possible to fucking do it.
It's one of those things you can try to predict all day long, but until it launches, like I'm more forgiving of server stability at launch, because I understand that, like, there's really no true way to prepare for such a thing.
You
until it happens, and then because you're like, we estimate based off of pre-orders.
Yeah,
and then we add like whatever formula to those pre-orders, like after those pre-orders at launch day, to, you know, really get a feel of what we're going to get on servers. But you truly never know like what your servers can handle until your servers are put through it.
So I'm gonna give it probably to like mid-December to see if I'm
that's
upset
a fair
about
assessment. I mean, like, you know, let's be honest, server stability issues are going to be annoying at first, and based on how long it is before they fix it will determine whether or not, how, like you said, how pissed off you'd be at it.
Yeah. So one thing that we had mentioned that we did add to this is the hazard zone. They brought out the hazard zone gameplay, and it was what they're talking about. It's gonna be like Tarkov and Siege and stuff.
It's like the fucking Hunt game, whatever.
I just remember they were talking about it is like Tarkov and another one. I can't remember what it was. I mean, it looks cool.
It's called the Showdown or whatever.
Yeah,
the fuck.
and it looks like it's kind of casual, 5 to 10 minutes maybe, and I think it's gonna be cool.
And one of the things that also with it is that it's kind of like the Dark Zone with a Division. You extract whatever what you have, and then you get these things called dark market points, dark market credits, and then you use those credits for like upgrades for the next round.
Yep, and you get to keep your stuff and anything like that.
And like the hotter the fucking location that you go to extract your to get your shit, the better your stuff's gonna be. So like if you like try to take the easy route, you're gonna end up fucking yourself later, because the guys that took the hard route and got the good shit, like they're gonna have an advantage over you. So I mean I kind of like it, but the fact of the matter is it is not free.
I know that's blows my fucking mind, because of all the things you would have thought that, especially
is it not free because it's in the actual full game, or is that another thing that you have to pay for later?
I don't know. I don't think you have to pay for it later. They just said it's not going to be free to play. So it's basically going to be the same as Firestorm. Like, you had to have the game to play it, which to me blows my fucking mind that it's to be truly competitive with with Call of Duty. You've got to compete with Warzone. Yeah. Because we know Call of Duty game itself, garbage. Nobody fucking cares about that. It's literally about Warzone and competing with Warzone. To compete with that, you've got to have a free-to-play aspect. And this would have been the perfect fucking thing. And this would have brought so many people in.
Yep. They dropped the ball on that one.
And with it being crossplay, like, I mean, granted, that'll keep this game, or this mode at least, alive a little bit longer than before. Because Firestorm was fucking terrible. Firestorm was like their answer to Blackout, which was rushed by all means. And then, two, it was only a part of the game.
I remember when not enough people were playing it, so they had to reduce server size.
It was fucking terrible. Like, it would have been, if it were free to play, like how Warzone it would have been, it honestly would have been really good, because the gameplay itself, it was a little slow, but it was very Battlefield. Like, it was literally like how I would imagine Battlefield in a Battle Royale would be. In general, it was kind of cool. I liked it if it were more players, but the fact that this isn't going to be free to play, the only thing that's going to keep it alive for a little bit longer is that it's cross-play, and I'm gonna say cross-gen, but either way, the fact that it's cross-play will keep it alive a little bit longer. It's going to die because it's not free to play. Yeah, you're going to kill it, unless maybe later on they make it free to play, but.
I think the only mode I'm looking forward to the most is Portal.
Yeah, I'm gonna love that. You know what? I bet it's not the reason it's not free to play, because EA doesn't want to fucking put resources away, take away resources from fucking Apex,
Probably, yeah.
which sucks ass. Because this,
Hey, listen, EA is no stranger to fucking killing off a game. But like, I think this is the one game. It's like because it's a big franchise. Like, if they went free to play, they could potentially like.
on just that one mode, it's not even like it's like what Call of Duty did. They have Warzone free to play.
Who knows? I mean, maybe the mode isn't going to be as good enough, and like people are just going to go back to Apex if they were to do free to play. I mean, but in my final opinion on from what I've noticed from what I've got off the beta is Battlefield is not worth the $70 price tag.
I disagree.
Well, that's fine, but with the fact there's no campaign at all, and you got Hazard Zone and Portal and multiplayer, and with the state of multiplayer right now, this is not worth $70. And not to mention the fact that last gen consoles had a hell of a time playing the beta.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna buy it if I was.
Oh
on
no,
PS4.
absolutely not. We all saw that one coming from a fucking mile away. That PS4 and Xbox One were gonna run like shit, and everyone's like, "Man, this fucking runs like shit." And I'm like, I get it. They did it because the availability of consoles are so low.
Yeah, that's the only reason why.
It's the only reason why.
It's so rushed because that wasn't the original plan.
No, it wasn't.
They're just like, oh, make it available. Do what you can.
It's, and the worst part is that majority of the people that are going to be reviewing the game are going to be reviewing on past gen consoles and PC.
Yeah, I think that's not fair to the game either. I don't think.
No, it's not. But it'll
because that's gonna be my first question.
It's going to be a victim of circumstance for sure.
I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be my first question. And if I see someone talking shit about the game or reviewing the game in general, my first question is, what platform are you on? If you're not on PC or next gen, your opinion is garbage to me. I don't care. I really don't care, because to me that's not how it was supposed to. It was not what it was made for. It sucks to suck. Like I get, but you kind of got to know what you're getting into. In all reality.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. So we're going to talk about Warthunder.
I want to win my argument. Fuck these classified documents.
So, okay. I keep doing that. I keep switching over to fucking Tim. Because I'm used to the fucking... I'm used to the hotkey that I have here. All right, first round, what do you guys say?
Yeah, see?
Yeah, range that, man. All right, so...
Ranger that.
So... Let's talk about Warthunder. So Warthunder fan leaks classified military documents to win an argument about tanks again.
Yeah, it's not the first time. That's why I thought it was fucking hilarious.
All right then. So Warthunder is a free-to-play online war game from Gaijin Entertainment. This game is committed to accuracy with mode that goes all out in realistic vehicle and weapon physics. And player base is extremely invested in the
I don't even know.
What the fuck is this word?
Minutiae? Menage a trois?
All right. I think it's
I don't fucking know.
Babe, you speak French?
Linda!
So Warthunder, whatever of its vehicle simulations. The Warthunder forums see many arguments about the accuracy of otherwise a particular hardware. And this is what I hate. Why are we bitching about accuracy in a video game? I mean, you can only be so accurate before it becomes unfair in ways. You know what I mean?
Wait.
So, like, people are arguing about the accuracy.
You were just talking about the accuracy.
No, I'm saying Battlefield is one thing, Warthunder is another. I'm talking about, like, I understand in games things aren't going to be extremely accurate. That makes sense, okay?
Okay.
So, but I mean, you got to cut corners in games for balance reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So people are arguing that, like, oh, the armor rating in this isn't bad. I bet you anything it's going to be an armor rating.
It's not realistic.
I bet you anything this has to do with armor rating and projectiles. I guarantee you that's what this is. So, because that's classified shit. Armor ratings on tanks and projectiles.
Anything that's really about the thing.
Anything that's related
they're
to
trying to prove an argument. They're like, this is why I'm right.
So the Warthunder forums see many arguments about the accuracy of otherwise particular hardware. This weekend saw one French Leclerc main battle tank and its variants, which at one stage got down to the exact speed of rotation of the tank's turret, Oh my God. Player of Red Cross got rather annoyed with the user saying that the turret's rotation speed was 40 degrees a second, among other things. Why are you saying this, PC gamer? If this is classified, I mean, it's out there anyway.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, they're allowed to do it.
40 degrees a second, among other things, so decided to try and win an argument by, under the title of secret document, posting portions of the gunner manual for the Lectric to prove their point. This happened on Sunday morning, and doubtless quite pleased with their work, Red Cross popped back into their thread several times during the day, saying things like, it took 11 seconds for the turret to make a complete turn, so 550 milliseconds, 31 degrees is indeed correct, not 40 degrees. Not 40 degrees. He was talking about the tank that he was in. They further went on to clarify that they were in Series 2.3 model, which, while other fans on the thread reported the documents argued over whether they were classified or not. After several hours of material was removed from the moderators, who are now old hands at this sort of thing. Before Mod Jagdente wrote, guys, it's not funny to leak classified documents of modern equipment. You put the lives of many at stake who work daily on these vehicles. Keep in mind that those documents will be deleted immediately alongside sanctions. Thanks for reading. So let's talk about being a stupid fucking private. Maybe even not a private, but a dumb, like you're a dumb soldier to think. That would honestly be like me telling you the entire like ordinance of AC-130s.
I honestly picture this as the same, which I think has actually happened too. The warships game,
World of Warships.
Yeah, that we talked about. Like there was the USS Missouri, right?
Yeah, well, that was talking about like historical.
No, but I mean that was the same game.
Yeah, it was the same. It was the same. Yeah, it was the one. Yeah.
So I can see this exact thing talking about ships and like their guns, their turrets, and everything in that game. Like same concept and everything.
And I think the worst part is that this dude is really arguing over like milliseconds. Like you're really going to argue over like 15 milliseconds?
It just goes down to people just want to be right, and they got to be right.
They'll be right by all means if that means leaking classified documentation of a fucking piece of machinery or weaponry that, you have to have a security clearance to fucking have those documents and know. Guess what, dude? You're not only going to get in huge, deep shit, but you're going to lose your security clearance, and that's
probably go to the
break. That's well, depending on how far they want to push it, but they could. They really could. Like, I mean, this seems like it's like a French soldier, so it's like I don't know whatever they do in France, fucking guillotine. I don't know.
Just imagine you're in handcuffs. You're going off to the brig, and you're like, "Fucking showed that guy online. Piece of shit. Told him he was wrong. Can't wait to tell him when I get out of jail.
Would you like a croissant?
Fuck that guy.
Right top.
He's clearly disappointed at this whole article.
I keep hitting the wrong fucking hotkeys because I'm not used to having 3 cameras. I'm sorry, guys.
Everyone watching is like, this is bullshit.
Listen.
Quit changing the fucking camera.
I'm not fucking perfect. Fuck you. So, moral of the story is operational security, guys.
Yeah, OPSEC.
OPSEC is fucking, like, stop leaking classified documents in forums of video games if the enemy is watching.
Not if they are.
To be fair, I mean, at the same time, it's like this is not exactly a very classified thing. It's like, yeah, it's a classified document, but at the same time, it's like we're really talking about the speed of a turret. Like,
you'd be surprised.
And you'd be surprised, like, oh, I got this many seconds to fucking clear out, and how many degrees, blah, blah, blah. I honestly thought that the classified documentation would be a little bit more than just that.
Like, more exciting, yeah. But I just think the fact that it's being done, and that it's...
And the reasoning behind it.
And they said, again. Like,
again? What was the last one?
I actually don't know the last one. I don't think I looked up that last one.
I wonder if I can find
But that was one thing that got me. I was like, again? Excuse me? Why is this continuously happening?
This leaked again in the same game. Let's see if this elaborates a little more. Oh, this did happen again. This is about Britain's Challenger 2 main battle tank.
Wow. This is like...
God damn it. It did fucking went to the fucking top again. Sorry, guys. All right. So, hey, remember how back in July, Warthunder player got in big trouble for leaking classified military documents? 3 months later, the same thing happened in the same game.
Wait, click on it, because you can click on that and it'll take you to the original.
Military game fan leaks classified docs to win forum argument. A Warthunder fan leaked declassified military documents in an old argument. Bills itself. See, fear not. Yeah, there's a completely different one. Missed the mark while design. He said they missed the mark while designing the Challenger 2. Oh, this one's going to be in depth. I can already tell. As I've stated a fair few times now, the complexity of the construction is sometimes difficult to see or show with pictures. Fear not wrote in July 14th. It's so complex in the Challenger 2's case that I don't completely blame Gaijin for getting it incorrect. We're really going to nitpick this. All I try to do is point out the areas of why they are incorrect. Shortly after, Fear not, who is believed to be the commander, a commander?
Damn it, sir.
What the fuck, sir? And the Royal Tank Regiment of the United Kingdom uploaded altered screenshots of documents they claimed were from the official AESP, or Army Equipment Support publication, for the Challenger 2 tank. The images were meant to be an example of where the developer went wrong in the in-game design, but were eventually removed by Gaijin due to the classified nature of its information.
Jesus Christ.
It says, senior technical moderator named Templar wrote, "We have written confirmation from Ministry of Defense that this document remains classified. By continuing to disseminate it, you are in violation of the Official Secrets Act as stated in the warning in the cover of the document. An offense which could carry up to 14-year prison sentence if prosecuted. If you of this you already are aware. As a service person, you have signed a declaration that you understand the act and when the actions that compels you." I mean, at this point, it's common fucking sense.
Yeah.
You know?
That's like if I were to give out the M1 Abrams classified shit.
So
Or every Osprey, which crashes every time you fly it.
Every time you post this, you place us international representatives of Gaijin, especially any UK citizens, in hot water as warning. So hopefully states that unauthorized retention of protected document is an offense. So it said, Maynard added that no charges will be made to the Challenger 2 tank Warthunder as the studio doesn't base development off invalid source material.
Invalid source
That's a good way of saying that, like, not classified.
It's not true.
This is not secret.
Not true.
Before any discussion, handling, or bug reports even made, proof of that. And you know what? Honestly, in a game like Warthunder, I feel like you don't need to be fucking, like... Oh, my God.
Fuck you, Toyota.
You don't need to be, like, completely accurate for OPSEC reasons. Like,
Yeah.
one, game development, like, okay, cool, it's code. We're not going to nitpick design and how some things function, because guess what?
Yeah.
Not everybody needs to know exactly how things function, because that's a secret fucking thing to know.
The fact that they're getting down to the previous one, like how the speed in milliseconds.
That'd be like me saying the blast radius of a fucking AGM-114 Hellfire missile. I'm not going to fucking tell you that.
Did it do what you fucking needed to do?
Right. So how, like, it'd be like me saying, how close can you be to a Hellfire without getting killed? I could tell you, but I'm not.
I was like, we're waiting.
Well, I'm not a moron, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, like, oh man, and you know what? I am shocked that a commander did this.
I'm not.
These are things that you see Joes do, like new privates and stuff.
You don't see. To me, you would almost expect the private to do it, but they're like, I know what's gonna happen to me if I do this fucking bullshit. The officer's like, yeah, nothing's gonna happen to me. I'm a fucking officer.
I've got
commander.
brass. It's just like
they're just gonna be like, no,
you leaked.
Stop that.
You leaked classified information. You were more likely to get put in jail than a fucking.
But
enlisted.
the commander's gonna be like, but bro, come on,
bro, I'm a fucking commander. Like,
we're gonna swipe this under the rug. No, sir, you lost 2 rifles in the field.
I mean, first
Shout out to 3-6.
Like, first Sergeant, you always, like, you harp on OPSEC, right?
Exactly.
What are your thoughts on violating OPSEC, Sergeant? First Sergeant? Yeah, roger that.
Exactly.
So we're going to talk about Nintendo now. I think I'm going to promote Killer Jerky.
Again?
Yeah, I really want a sponsorship from them. I want beef jerky. You could just send me beef jerky, send me food. Like that's really all you need to do. I don't give a fuck about money. I give a fuck about, like, just send me stuff. Just feed me, equip me. Like with Killer Jerky, their shit's good. Have you had it yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's good. It's really good.
I don't buy much
and
jerky
it's
'cause
not expensive at all. They have more than just jerky. They have like peanut butter pretzels. They have gummies. They have like snacks and shit. Like it's just like snacks and beef jerky. So, and they're a gamer-friendly beef jerky company. So Killer Jerky, if you ever watch this. So let's talk about Nintendo. So you'll have to pay more than double for Switch Online if you want N64 games.
So what's the baseline? What are we talking here?
So right now, let's see. Okay, Nintendo Switch Online, which typically costs $4 a month or $20 a year, allows you to play multiplayer Switch games like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with other players. And
so it's gonna be $30
via internet. No, it's gonna be $50.
What? That's more.
Right. So
in September, I see what you're saying. Okay.
In September, Nintendo announced that it would make N64 games available as part of its Nintendo Switch Online service. At the time,
Gotcha.
let me zoom this fucker in a little bit.
My math was fucked up there.
So at the time, Nintendo withheld the pricing info, leading some to speculate about how steep it would be. Today, we get our answer. Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack, official name, will run you $50 a year or $80 if you opt for the Family Bundle.
Family bundle. Probably like different systems.
Up to 3 people.
Well, basically that means 3 consoles. Or
Nintendo
whatever.
Switch Online, which typically costs $4 a month or $20 a year, allows you to play multiplayer Switch games like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with other players via internet. What's more, subscribers also get access to a library of more than 100 classic NES and SNES games. Starting October 25th, you'll be able to upgrade to a premium version of Switch Online that also includes N64 games and Sega Genesis games in the library. For $50, you get access for a year. You also get access to Animal Crossing, New Horizons.
Oh, God, I'm not telling my girlfriend that.
Don't. It's the DLC. The $80 family plan, meanwhile, grants a year of access to you and up to 7 other Nintendo accounts. At the moment, there's no pricing info for 1 month, 3-month memberships, like those available with a standard Switch Online membership.
Who the fuck got 7 Nintendo accounts?
People who don't stop fucking, I guess. Their pullout game is weak.
And they can afford
or people with
7
friends. People with
Nintendo
friends will,
accounts?
like you get your friends together and you get a Nintendo account. You just get all one Nintendo account.
That seems more plausible to me, honestly.
So at the moment, there's no pricing info for 1 month. Okay, and it's unclear whether or not Nintendo will add them in the future. Nintendo did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Kotaku. 9 N64 games will be available at launch.
9.
9.
9.
9. So 9 games for almost double the price. Mario
Lick
Kart,
my balls.
Dr. Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Mario Tennis, Sin and Punishment, Star Fox, Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Win Back, Covert Operations, don't know what that is, Yoshi Story.
What the fuck is that?
So guess what's not on there?
Super Smash Bros.
Yep.
Fuck them.
The Sega Genesis offering is a bit deeper, featuring 14 games, including in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which the hilariously named Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. What the fuck?
Well, that's probably just
Mean Bean Machine? Was this like a fucking...
so.
Is this like a vibrator?
Well, no, I think I do remember a lot of those games had longer titles, like Sonic 2, yada yada. But no one ever fucking called them that. It was just Sonic 1, 2, 3, 4, etc.
So Nintendo is also selling special Switch controllers modeled after the original Genesis and N64 gamepads. They are $50 a pop. Interestingly, while original N64 controllers required a rumble pack accessory to generate the force feedback vibration, Nintendo's pre-order package for the N64 Switch controller confirms that it comes with its functionality built in.
That's fair.
Taking bets, how much will the rumored Game Boy and Game Boy Color expansions cost?
So, I'm not gonna lie, if they had like a remake of the original Game Boy Color and they had it based to where you could go online, they've got me. I'm sorry. They've got like every 90s kid on that.
There's nothing there to justify doubling your price.
No. I'm just saying in general.
You don't have to get this. But if you want access to this, it's like you have...
Oh, I'm not even talking about that. I just mean in general. If they made a Game Boy Color or even a Game Boy Original, to me they're roughly the same. They didn't come out too long after each other. But you make a Game Boy Color and you give it like online capabilities or internet connection.
And a backlight.
And a backlight. I ain't gotta sit looking for the fucking street lights like.
Or get the attachment.
The worm light, I had it.
Yeah,
That was game changing.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you went on vacation, you traveled a pack of AA's, like a large pack of AA's.
Oh yeah. But you got the game light for like in the car and shit.
Remember the printer camera?
I never had one. I remember it, but I never got one.
I had one. It just gave you these fucking 8-bit looking photos of yourself.
I had the little.
It was
connection.
so cool. It was like the first selfies ever.
I had the Pokemon trade cable where you connect to another Game Boy and you can
Yeah,
trade Pokemon.
you could trade Pokemon. Yeah, I remember.
Because some of them you couldn't get some Pokemon unless you traded with another one that had them, like blue and red.
It encouraged that.
Yeah,
it encouraged playing with people.
To get a complete deck, you literally had to connect with people that
had the other one.
those. Yeah,
or just buy the other one.
That too. But if you had two Game Boys,
right?
But like if they had that and they had capability to do like online shit or download them, bro.
I remember.
So much money.
It was about a year or so ago, more than that, when we talked about on this podcast the Pokedex and how the next Pokemon games that came out at that time you basically wouldn't be able to complete your Pokedex because certain ones weren't available in your region.
That's so stupid. That was like how the Pokemon Go is.
It was kind of similar to that. Like it was like, you couldn't complete your Pokedex because certain Pokemon were not available in that game, even though they were in Pokemon. Oh no, that's what it was. They removed certain Pokemon from from the game, so you couldn't, no matter where you were, complete your Pokedex because from those expansions they removed the Pokemon completely, and you never could finish your Pokedex because those Pokemon were not in the game. And they said they did it because it was like, it was the remaster or something. It was like a remaster, and they were just like, why would you add that? Like, well, because we wanted to we didn't have enough. It was either money or resources to remodel the Pokemon that were there and then add all the new ones. And then it eventually showed that like there wasn't much changed here. You just didn't add them, and it ended up being at the end of the day like pure laziness.
It's frustrating.
I know. So yeah, for double the price, you get 9 N64 games.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, and like honestly, more than half of these are just games that you're like, why the fuck would I play these?
Those aren't even that great a games.
I don't even know what Win Back Covert Ops is or Sin and Punishment. I just know the Mario, Star Fox, Zelda, and Yoshi. Everything else, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck those are, dude.
The only ones that are really going to be popular are Mario Tennis, Mario Kart, maybe Dr. Mario.
Anything with Mario's name on it.
Yeah, well, some of them. Super Mario maybe, and Zelda. Yoshi's Story wasn't that big. Like about half of those will be relatively popular.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Not worth it.
No, it's not worth it.
So we're doing the FIFA one?
We're going to talk about FIFA. So this one, everything comes full circle, doesn't it, EA?
Among all the shit with FIFA.
So,
it's not loot boxes.
FIFA reportedly wants to charge EA $1 billion every 4 years for its name.
You know what I've noticed?
What?
There's been a couple episodes we haven't talked about loot boxes.
Because the news has been about everything else but loot boxes.
Yeah, no. 2 more episodes. We got to do something for episode 69.
That's coming up.
Literally 2 episodes.
I know. So we now have a clue on why EA Sports is considering changing the name of FIFA, its giant football franchise. New York Times reports that there is a dispute between EA and the developer of the FIFA games and FIFA, the worldwide football organization. The disagreement is reportedly over cost and new revenue streams.
Or soccer to us Americans.
Yeah, soccer. So, new report in the New York Times states the dispute between EA and FIFA is related to the cost of the new revenue streams. FIFA wants to charge EA double the amount, $1 billion every 4 years.
That's a lot.
Hang on, I got an image about my grandmother's ticket.
That's a lot. $1 billion? 1 billion with a B. It's a whole B.
All right. Anyway. So FIFA wants to charge EA double the amount, $1 billion every 4 years for the license of EA's and limit EA's ability to monetize beyond the game itself. I'm actually kind of for that.
Oh yeah, like for them to be able to make a little bit more money for it.
Yeah, let's see. Let's read this tweet. At least 2 years of talks about renewing the contract that allows Electronic Arts through EA Sports Division to use organization's name have hit a wall, according to multiple people close to the negotiations. The possibility of permanent break after next year's World Cup in Qatar. When the current 10-year agreement ends, was made explicit in a letter released this week by Cam Weber. Cool story, bro. Changed my life.
That's going to be an interesting World Cup.
Yeah, right?
Given where it's at.
So, according to the report, FIFA wants to charge EA $1 billion every 4 years to use a FIFA license within its game. Additionally, the organization wants to limit EA's monetization of the game. FIFA wants to limit EA's money-making opportunities to strictly that it can be found in the game. To strictly what can be found in the game. EA wants to explore monetizing highlights of actual games, arena video game tournaments, and digital products like NFTs, the New York Times. Wait. How are you going to monetize highlights of FIFA games, like the real ones? Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me.
I hope that picked up.
It won't.
I hope it picked
won't.
up.
Last one didn't get picked up.
Seriously?
Yeah.
It's depressing. He farted.
Did
for
you not,
reference.
Did you not listen to the last one?
For people, I'm not all the way through it.
Okay. Last week, EA said they are exploring the idea of renaming the EA Sports football games, soccer games. EA also says FIFA partnership is different than their other official partnerships, meaning the loss of FIFA wouldn't mean the loss of the official team and player names. The license only gives EA the name, logo, and rights to use the World Cup within the game. Okay, so they could keep the names in the stadiums, but they can't use the logo or the World Cup, which is huge for soccer.
Wow,
that'd be like taking the Super Bowl out of Madden.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. That's a shitty deal, honestly.
Yeah. It seems the decision is likely by the end of the year. EA has already trademarked EA Sports FC, which could end up being the new game in the franchise if EA and FIFA can't come to terms. We call this year's installment FIFA 22 good in our review.
FC?
Football club. EA Sports Football Club.
Okay.
That's what they call soccer teams in
I've never played FIFA, so
I know that's what I'm saying, like in soccer in general, that's what they call them, their football clubs.
Oh, okay. It's just gonna be a game of random fucking people, though.
No, I mean they'll have the names, but they can't use like the World Cup, the FIFA brand and stuff. It'll just be EA FC.
So they can use the players
and the teams, if they can't use like the FIFA name and like the fucking World Cup and stuff. Anything that's got FIFA's name on it, like officially.
How are they able to use the teams and everything?
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know.
It's interesting.
Microtransactions still loom large, but small interactive changes in the horsepower of the new gen consoles combined make FIFA 22 feel more. Oh, this is their review of it. Cool. So
there's so many more questions I have just from that article.
I mean, I really don't know. It could be something like within the rights, like that you like. How do you trademark a name? You know.
I mean, that's really easy.
It's easy, but I mean, like an individual person's name, like. Maybe it's up to the players to be put in the game. Maybe it's their choice to be put, not FIFA's choice.
A lot of times that is the case, honestly.
The player's choice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the way the college ones, the college things are now, is like some of the players kind of have.
And EA's bringing back college.
Yeah, and we talked about it.
And
but I think it's good.
Talk about that right now.
I think it's better that the players in that situation.
It leaves it up to the players to decide.
Yeah, but they're able to get more, like, actually compensated for their
instead of like the organization,
because they're like, oh, you're only in college, you're not entitled to this. Like, that's fucking bullshit.
Well, yeah, it is bullshit. So
well, I mean, I like that aspect.
Yeah.
Now on to fucking.
Let's talk about Call of Duty's
anti-cheat.
All right.
Hard quotations.
And this is from PC Gamer Kids. First on, what do you think about the anti-cheat? Is it bullshit or is it real?
That's what we thought.
My thoughts exactly, First aren't. Anyway. So.
Let's get a zoom in of that.
Of what?
Of your nose picking.
Yeah, fuck it. Cheat makers already have Call of Duty's new anti-cheat driver, but Activision isn't bothered.
This holy ad.
You think that's an holy ad? The kernel-level anti-cheat is in the hands of cheat makers.
Go away!
The kernel-level anti-cheat is in the hands of cheat makers a little easier than expected, but it's not a big deal.
A little earlier than expected.
Earlier, whatever. The light's glaring on the word. I couldn't see it. Activision unveiled that its new secret weapon against Call of Duty cheaters earlier this week, a kernel-level anti-cheat called Ricochet. I saw somebody on TikTok say Ricochet, and I'm like, it's Ricochet, you fucking moron. It's the same one that said that Call of Duty is better than Battlefield. That will finally, hopefully, do something about the plague of hackers in Warzone and future Call of Duty games.
Probably not.
But then yesterday, disaster appeared to strike when Anti-Cheat Police Department, a Twitter group dedicated to gathering intel on cheats to detect and disrupt cheating vendors, claimed that their driver had leaked. P2C, pay to cheat devs, are already reverse engineering it. This is already very bad, the group said. Fan site Modern Warzone also claims to have seen proof of the source. Quote, proof. Oh, this is the whole quote. Proof of the source code being scrubbed through.
Well, it's because they're the ones that had the picture of it.
Yes.
It was on Reddit.
According to Vice, however, it wasn't leaked at all. It wasn't a leak at all. Activision had said Ricochet would initially roll out Call of Duty Warzone specific update, which is scheduled for early December, but two sources told the site the system had already been released for some players for testing purposes.
Okay, so it's not dropping with
No, it's dropping.
with Vanguard. It's dropping like a few weeks later.
It's dropping in 2 months.
Well, no, I mean the game comes out. I think it's like a week before Battlefield now. I think
something.
But it's not. This isn't being rolled out until like mid-December.
Right, so the game's going to come out and there still won't be an anti-cheat. Shocker. Anyway, but two sources told the site that the system had already been released for some players for testing purposes, and the inevitable happened. Activision later confirmed that Ricochet is in the wild, but didn't seem too bothered. So they confirmed that, yeah, our anti-cheat source code's out there. It's all right.
See, that's what I mean. That's where I'm like, it's too convenient to where they've put so much, even with Activision.
I don't know.
Like, I get it. I think that it's like what was the name of the theory? Trojan horse theory, where they're like, damn, you guys got our source code. That sucks.
Yeah, it's not real.
And then they're taking all that time to fucking reverse engineer it, and then when they go to implement it, they're like, wait, why won't this fucking work?
Honestly, if anything, them doing that is just buying time. Because eventually they're...
Well, yeah, eventually, no matter what. It's the same thing with anything in the tech world. That's why... That's
so
be
even if it's not actually like the real source code, eventually they're going to get their hands on the real source code.
Yeah, but it's just going to buy them time to make it stronger, or to it's supposed to be to where they've got it as an AI and it's ever changing. That's what they've talked about. It's supposed to like continuously evolve as cheats go out, people cheat, and it's like a learning AI. I'm like, okay, I believe it because I've seen some like AI stuff and technology, but no matter what, in some way, there's still going to be some type of cheaters. Because, I mean, that's going to be the next fucking war that we have. Is going to be an online war, basically.
Yeah.
So you can't truly combat it.
No. So Ricochet Anti-Cheat is a controlled live testing, the Call of Duty account tweeted. Before putting it on your PC, we're testing the hell out of it. Testing includes providing pre-release version of the driver, selected third parties, and readying server-side upgrades for launch.
I just think it's annoying that they call it a kernel-level driver, and they're making it sound like it's so amazing. But
Yeah,
that's
I
like
know.
the basic type of fucking anti-cheat
know.
that everybody has.
Easily beaten. So it's a pre-release version of the driver is important, according to Epic Games technical director Paul Chamberlain, who was previously product head of game security of Riot's competitive FPS Valorant. Speaking to Vice, Chamberlain said that Activision probably didn't want the early driver in the hands of cheat makers, but it's almost impossible to avoid with public testing, and probably worth the headaches in the long run. So as long as, and this is what Chamberlain says, so as long as they weren't testing with a non-released ready version, for example, a non-obfuscated version or a version with debug symbols available, the only impact is that cheat devs get a small head start, Chamberlain said. Running a public test is likely to be more valuable to Activision than an extra secrecy. Phantom Overlay Administrator Ziblier said that original report of Ricochet leak was technically accurate because it wasn't meant to be in the hands of non-testers just yet, but acknowledged that it's not really a big deal because, as Chamberlain said, they'll have access to it soon enough anyway. The only difference that the leak makes is that they have a head start before implementation to begin reversing and analyzing. So why is that not an issue?
Well, it also if
So
it's, let's say
they
if
have
it's
a head
not,
start. They're like, oh, they're just gonna. All it is they're just gonna have a head start to making cheats. I'm like, so
Well,
why is that not an issue?
So I think let's say if it's not, even if it's not the Trojan horse thing, they've talked about like it's supposed to be an ever changing AI. This could be a part of how they're gonna be able to make it that much stronger because they're already doing that, and the AI can be learning that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So basically, it's like, all right, what are the cheaters like doing?
Yeah. So the AI is able to be like, all right, cool. It implements that data and everything, and it makes it that much harder. So I can kind of see from a tech sense. I wish I knew more tech stuff.
Yeah, me
but,
too.
Like, and honestly, I think once you start going to school, you're gonna understand a lot more of this too.
All right, so Call of Duty's new backend anti-cheat features will go live at the launch of Call of Duty Vanguard on November 5th. The kernel-level driver will roll out later this year with a specific update to Warzone.
What's the difference?
So, actually, I don't know. I really don't know. So it's just like they're like our anti-cheat rolls out November 5th, but the kernel-level driver comes out in December. Like, what does that mean?
Well, what I learned, the kernel level is supposed to be the one that detects shit on your computer that interacts with the game. And one thing that people they made sure to talk about was like it only operates when you're running the game. It's not intrusive to all of your data. You're not like being recorded, all that shit, because like privacy issues and everything. They had to talk about that aspect because that's going to be a question that everybody has, which is a fair assessment. But it's for like any other third party applications that have connection or interaction with the game. And another thing that they were talking about was they're gonna have, it was brought up, they're gonna have it to where, because OBS, they're gonna have a special thing for OBS to not be an issue for all the streamers, where it detects OBS and it just shuts everything down, like you're not able to play. So that's one thing that they had mentioned, because it's kernel level. There's gonna be an exception for different applications like OBS.
Honestly, we will see just how good this is when it comes out.
True. Did you see that TikTok I had sent you where he's like, we got an anti-cheat, and like, I fucking hate this job.
Oh, yeah.
The Big Rob energy dude.
Yeah, he's funny. I've seen his shit before. I mean, we have a little bit of time. I got one topic that I forgot to add.
What was it?
Ghost Recon.
I was never a fan of the game.
So, here, let's see.
I know it was super popular. I
Ghost
just never truly liked it.
Front line. Indefinitely delayed.
I think I remember seeing it on my Google, though.
So, for those of you that don't know, Ubisoft is once again wiping their ass with Tom Clancy's fucking name.
Oh, first off, I can't remember which topic it was, though, but a topic that we've already covered, I think like 2 episodes ago, I saw being covered by a pretty popular esports thing on YouTube. I really wanted to comment on there, like, Blacklisted Gaming Podcast covered it first.
Honestly, it happens so much. You remember my theory about like why file sizes are extremely large for Call of Duty?
Yeah.
I've been saying that for a year, and then I see these two guys that have a large following on TikTok with like a month ago saying the same thing, and I'm like, I've been saying this, and people said I sound crazy.
Yeah.
And then they say it, and they're like, people are like, it makes sense.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, oh, what? Because no one knows who the fuck I am. Like it's.
You know what's funny though, because you know how massive of a game Subnautica is, and like how amazing the AI and like
Yes.
it looks. You know how large that game is?
No.
3 gigs.
That's my point, right
I
there.
downloaded it last night.
I mean, look
like,
at, for
3
example,
gigs?
look at Red Dead Redemption 2. That was a large game. That game needed 2 discs to download it, and it still isn't as big as fucking Warzone and Call of Duty. Like any Call of Duty file, it's still smaller.
I was mind blown. I'm like, this massive game, like they put so much work
Well, it's the
into
same
that
with
game.
fucking No Man's Sky. That's like what, 20 gigs, maybe?
I think it's less.
I think it's less than that too.
Yeah.
I think it's like 16.
Mm-hmm. I think 16, 17. Sounds about
A
right.
game with 98 quadrillion procedurally generated planets in a universe.
That's cross-gen and multiplayer
A
capable.
game that takes you several hundred real years to fully explore is smaller.
Gameplay time.
Gameplay time, which is actually equates to real time. No, 300 something years of real gameplay time.
That's what I mean. Like you have to be in the game.
Yeah, you'd have to be in the game for that long to be able to do that, and that's still smaller than Call of Duty. So my whole theory about they're doing it on purpose to make it to where your file sizes are too large, where you delete other games and you only have Call of Duty in your shit. These guys talked about that. I'm like, I've been saying this for since Modern Warfare 2019. I've been saying this since 2019, going into 2020, and even early in 2020 when the file sizes got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, I wonder if this is intentional.
Just think the bigger we get, people are gonna start using us and taking our shit.
I almost feel like people are taking our shit.
It's possible.
We're just too small for us to have a say in it.
Yeah, everyone's like, okay.
Well, the good thing is all my podcasts are time stamped, so I can literally just go and be like, "Are you sure I didn't cover this first? It looks like I said in February of 2019." Oh, like when I talk about Apex, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I am probably one of the first gaming podcasts to ever bring up Apex Legends. Because no one was talking about that. And I said, there's a new Battle Royale coming out from Respawn, Apex Legends. And people said, no, it's not. It's crazy. I never even heard of it. Like, yeah, there's no marketing.
Speaking of storage, did you ever get a SSD card?
For this?
Mm-hmm.
For my PlayStation?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Do you want one? Because I've got another one coming, and I don't need the one that I'm using.
How big is it?
The one I'm got coming is a terabyte, and then I've got so I won't need the 500.
I got an external hard drive. It's 4 terabytes.
Oh, okay. Then that's fine.
So I don't really need it. But yeah, so we're going to talk about this. So the Tom Clancy game, the new Ghost Recon, was going to be a battle royale.
Oh, that's what I remember. They yes.
So a game that nobody asked for. Everyone's been like, can we just have like a normal Ghost Recon game again? Nope. They said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to combine Breakpoint and Wildlands and make a battle royale.
Because every game's got to have a fucking battle royale now.
And it was called Ghost Recon Frontline. And let me tell you, this came with a slew of backlash. People,
of course.
Because here we are. We still don't have a Splinter Cell game. They like to throw Sam Fisher in every fucking Ubisoft game that has Tom Clancy's name on it. And we also had this new competitive shooter that they're coming out called I already forgot the name because it doesn't even look good.
Important.
But X Defiant, that's what it was. X Defiant.
I've heard of that.
They announced that and we're like, what's this? They're like, it's a new IP. Yeah, it's a new IP. It's basically Rainbow Six Siege, but every character in the Tom Clancy verse versus just Rainbow Six characters. So it's Siege, but Sam Fisher's in it and Nomad's in it. And all these other guys from Rainbow are in it. It's just like, this is Rainbow Six Siege with Ubisoft guys. Mm-hmm. Or with Tom Clancy guys. This isn't anything really new. And everyone's shitting on that. Well, this game was getting shit on so hard that they indefinitely delayed it. Which is
delayed or canked it?
They indefinitely delayed. So
delayed just tells me...
No, here's the word. Indefinitely. Which means it's probably getting scrapped. This is their way of like scrapping it.
Yeah, I remember texting you. I'm like, indefinitely sounds like it's just canceled,
like, straight up canceled.
Like,
so Ghost Recon Frontline closed test. If this is the closed test, delayed indefinitely after fan backlash. So Ghost Recon Frontline's closed test has just been delayed indefinitely, which is also, in case you don't realize, the whole game will be delayed indefinitely because they can't get a test out. So it's been delayed indefinitely. Ubisoft made official announcement regarding this matter on social media, but they did not provide any explanation on what pushed them to make this decision. Probably because it sucks. We have decided that it is best to postpone the closed test for Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Frontline. The development team is dedicated to creating the best experience possible, so it probably runs like shit and no one wants it. Ubisoft also did not say when the new launch would be. Ghost Recon's Frontline closed test was originally scheduled for October 14th. That was yesterday. So they announced this 2 days ago. So day before yesterday, the day before the closed test, they said we're delaying this indefinitely.
Today's the 16th.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So 3 days ago. But they promised that fans will know more soon. We will share details
soon.
We'll share new details on the new date for the closed test as soon as we can, they added. Thank you for your ongoing support. Frontline was first announced in the gaming public it received a lot of negative feedback from the franchise fans. Frontline is going to be a 100-player free-to-play shooter, which will be an inspiration from the Battle Royale genre, because everybody wants another Battle Royale game.
They don't.
No, they don't. With that said, it is safe to say that Ghost Recon Frontline is very much not like the predecessors. Yeah, it is. with which are slow-paced, squad-based, and tactical features that the whole series is quite known for. Many fans of the Ghost Recon franchise expressed their dissatisfaction with this new direction that Ubisoft has decided to take for Frontline. However, despite the outcry, there's been no indication that Ubisoft is going to shift directions for the game. And that's the bottom line, because Ubisoft said so.
What do you think for a start?
Yeah, Top, what's up?
You know why he looks so disappointed? Because you
Why?
haven't re-enlisted yet.
Hey, when you throw out that $12,000 for 6 years re-enlistment bonus, like, oh, so compelling.
That's
actually
pretty compelling for a lot of people.
$12,000 for 6 years. From when I was active duty, right? They said that we will give you a re-enlistment bonus of $12,000 for 6-year re-enlistment and to stay here in Europe.
Nice.
And I
Part it again, just so in case.
and I was like, no, that's no.
So you know how much psych techs, like if I were on my first contract, actually, correction, if I were less than 10 years, it's fucking bullshit. If I were less than 10 years, when I re-enlisted, how much I would get?
What?
65,000.
You know that's like distroed out through the course of that enlistment, right? It's not a
Half
lump
of it
sum.
is.
Okay, half of it, which is taxed, and then the rest of it will be dished out over the course of your enlistment, which is taxed.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to be getting that. Like the government's going to get like a fucking quarter of it, and then you're going to get like, you will realize quickly in that enlistment, like that was not worth it.
It's not true.
Whatever, man.
That's way more. So when I first
If it's not
re-enlisted,
true, then why are the retention numbers so low?
that's because our job is fucking insanely hard,
That's
and the Navy's process to
even the easy jobs.
to vet
The
people.
retention numbers are the lowest they've ever been.
Well, I mean, I actually have the lowest corpsman specialty in the Navy, as far as manning goes.
It doesn't sound so special, does it?
No, it is special. That's why. It's mainly because, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and the vetting process. So we actually had to do psych testing to go into it to make sure we're not fucking crazy, and they stopped that for a long time. And what I'm noticing is a lot of, and they're just like kind of pushing fucking people through that really shouldn't be. And now I'm getting
That's
a lot of
everywhere.
I'm getting a lot of new people that are coming in. I'm like, that like, which I get, seeing mental health is cool, but like when you're brand fucking new, and you're that mentally broken, and you are supposed to be a mental health specialist, like you work in that field,
That's bad.
and you haven't done anything in your career, military wise.
I have PTSD from swimming.
To military wise to say, unless you like been sexually assaulted or something like that, but like military wise to say that you are reason that you're fucked up, we're not doing our due diligence to select quality fucking people into the field of mental health to handle other people with mental health issues. So we're continuously, like, those people will end up losing their specialty. We call it NEC. And then we continuously say low man. And then also, because it's a very demanding job, and more so when we're undermanned and like out at sea, the Navy's noticing that we're more needed, so we're being expanded. So we're actually having more places that we're allowed to go, which is great for orders. But because those are usually one of one, everyone's getting out as well because they're so overworked, and they're like, I can do the same thing and do a lesser job out on the outside, where like the good ones are getting pushed to the point to where they're like, I can't fucking handle this anymore.
That's the case all the time in every branch and every MOS, and because it's like
that's why I won't be an instructor.
That's why you hear a very common thing: the good ones never stay.
That's true. That's why I won't be an instructor, because everyone's like, you should be an instructor. I was like, I would love to be an instructor, but the way the Navy's pushing people through, I refuse to be a person that would be like, I know this person should not be a tech. They should not be in the field of mental health.
And they will fight you tooth and nail.
Yeah, but the Navy's like, we need numbers, push them through, and I refuse.
It's a numbers game. There was the
I will
same
not
thing
be
in
that
my
guy.
old National Guard unit. Like there was one dude, he kept getting drunk, getting in trouble, and like he was just a fucking problem, and he didn't want to be there. He went AWOL, all this bullshit, but because he came back for his next drill, like he was AWOL one drill, and then he came back for the next drill, and because he wasn't AWOL for a certain amount of drills, they couldn't separate him, and they wouldn't the command at the top would not separate this guy, and I was like, why? Like he's had run-ins with the cops, he's driven drunk, he from Berlin, Wisconsin back to Illinois, fucking hammered, destruction of property. He got into a fight with an NCO, and this dude's a fucking PFC. He like got into a fist fight with a staff sergeant, which is an E6.
Was it a brick E6?
Oh, funny. And they still wouldn't separate him. And I asked my buddy who's in E7. I'm like, why the fuck are we keeping him? And he straight is like, because it's the command doesn't want to have the retention numbers reflect them. So they keep the shitbags because they don't want to separate them for the mere fact that it will hurt the numbers on paper.
Yeah,
Never mind what this dude's been doing.
Yeah.
But because the numbers only reflect who's in and who's out.
They're looking at the short term versus the long term, because
Right.
in reality, those are going to affect the quality ones, and then they're going to get out, and then all they're going to have left are shitbags.
Well, this dude, and it also leaves a guy that doesn't want to be there and is going to keep causing problems to fulfill his contract for the next 4 years that he had left, and keep doing it, if not getting worse. And then eventually it'll get to the point where he's eventually going to hurt, kill someone or himself by negligence based on his actions. And we kept him for the mere fact that we didn't want to have numbers reflect negatively, because we kicked him out. Because separating somebody reflects poorly on retention numbers, which is stupid. It's so stupid. But that's just how it is. And that's why the fucking shitbags stay. Because the military refuses to let go of them for that reason alone. And it's so dumb. And I remember when the dude, you remember when the dude I told you that was smoking weed in front of the brigade? And like he wouldn't fucking listen to anybody. You couldn't do anything to him. He had Jag at his back. My buddy tried everything to get that dude separated, and the Army kept saying no for the longest time. It literally took a colonel to see him smoke weed in front of, and he pissed hot for coke, he pissed hot for weed. But they like, we have to put him through the alcohol substance abuse program, blah 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 blah, before we can do anything. We got to rehabilitate him. And like, this dude didn't want to be there. He was a liability and he was a problem. And then, if it weren't for the fact that he went and smoked pot in front of a full bird colonel in front of the brigade headquarters, it would have taken. Part of the reason they don't want to separate him right away is because they want to make him suffer. But if anything, they're making everybody that's in charge of that person suffer.
Yeah.
And because we have to keep fucking dealing with them. And it took that. It took a full bird to say, get this fucker out of the Army now.
And he's still getting paid. Like,
yeah, and he's still getting paid. And it took that colonel saying, get this fucker out now. His paperwork went right through and he was gone. And it took that to finally get him gone. And this is like a year of trying to get this fucker out. And it took that to get him out.
Yep. This made me think, this unrelated to shitbaggery. Did he get out?
He's going to be getting out, yeah.
That's what I thought. I was like, because I remember he
I
was
think his
moving to
enlistment
Canada.
ends in May.
Okay. Because I was like, how's he going to move to Canada if he's in the National Guard?
He's finishing out his contract, and then he's going to go to Canada.
Okay.
He's actually going up to Canada in November.
Nice.
This will be the third time they've seen each other in the last 2 months.
So basically, he just has to keep coming back until he's out?
Yeah.
That's not.
But
it's a pain in the ass, but
he's still on orders, like for the COVID shit. He's been on these orders for 2 years. He's miserable now. I mean, now it's voluntary, and he says he doesn't think he's going to volunteer for the next one because the contract extends in December. So he thinks he's going to stay until December, and then he's going to come back here and just drill normally and then figure something out work-wise. But for the most part, he's done. Even though it's funny, he told me, I had this conversation with him. He's like, I'm making a career out of this. I'm like, I said, I 100% am telling you, you are only saying that because you got lucky and your first unit was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to eventually go to another unit and it's going to suck. and then you're going to change your mind. He's like, no. His unit that he was with, this is how their AT, their annual training. They were gone for a month. They would go up to Fort McCoy, and then the duty day would be done. They would just go chill, go out, do whatever. And then on weekends, they had weekends off. So what he did was they went to the fucking Wisconsin Dells, went fishing. And I'm like, this is your field training? Yeah, they just went and rented a boat, went fishing.
It's almost National
And I'm
Guard
like,
shit
I
I've ever
promise you, that is not like that all over the fucking Army. I said, you are in an anomaly of a unit. I said, it's only going to, it said, you are only in the only unit that will ever do that. And then, lo and behold, that unit got disbanded because of, financial reasons from the state. And he ended up going to the unit he's with now. And he had to either reclass or go to this unit that he's in that he didn't want to go to. And he didn't want to reclass. And now he's in this unit and he fucking hates it. His command team, for example, they're up in a hotel. They've been staying in a hotel for the last 2 years. Same hotel. Nice hotel.
I was gonna say, that doesn't sound terrible.
Well, it is now because out of nowhere, they said, we're going to take a vote about moving hotels after they've already been in this one for almost 2 years. They decided to take a vote if they wanted to move to one that was closer to their, where they were working. They said, but my brother's like, this hotel is not only cheaper for the Army for us to be in, but it is way nicer than the one that you're trying to put us in. But the only reason why people agreed on it was because it was 15 minutes closer.
Oh, 15 minutes.
Yeah, because it was like a half-hour commute to there and back.
Oh, no.
And people didn't want to keep driving that far, so they said, oh, it's about 15 minutes away, 10, 15 minutes away, so let's just move here.
Dude, it was...
Oh, it gets worse. Hang on.
When I was on base, the hospital was right fucking next to base, and that took 30 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. Good traffic.
Mostly the base traffic. But yeah, that,
So-
shut the fuck up, it's 30 minutes.
So, for that reason alone, they moved barracks. And he said...
Do those people, outside of the National Guard live fucking 5 minutes from their jobs?
No. I mean, who knows? Who really knows? So, they moved them into this new hotel, which is worse. He said, my brother's been it's been 8 days since I could get housekeeping to give me new fucking towels.
Wow.
And today, his command team told everyone they had to check out for 1 day. They regularly do this. They make them check out of these hotels and get all their shit. Because basically, these are apartments for them now. They're living here. So they were told, you have to check out of your hotel room, get all your shit, get out of the hotel room for 1 day.
Go where?
They literally told my brother, stay wherever you can. And I'm like, what was the reason for them telling you you had to check out for a day? He's like, I don't know. They don't know. They just said check out for 1 day. Because one person was like, I'm going home for the weekend. I'm checking out. Well, if one checks out, everyone checks out.
So go be homeless for a day.
So, and I'm like, where are you supposed to stay? Your fucking car?
If they have one.
And he's like, this is so shit. He tore his ACL while on orders, and they tried telling him that they're going to push for non-service connected. And I'm like, you tore your ACL while on duty.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it would make sense.
What?
I mean, just from working in medical, the timeline of...
He's not in medical.
No. Because when you go to medical, I'm saying
right.
I work in medical. I'm thinking of
Well, he was on orders when it happened.
Yes, what I'm saying.
He was on orders when they were scheduling his surgery. He was talking to a medical guy through his unit. And then his medical guy said, we're not going to list this as service connected. He's like, why? He's like, because you're not going to get it. He was like...
Wouldn't matter. The VA would say otherwise, honestly.
Yeah, and his treatment record will reflect that. I'll explain that to him when I talk to him again. It doesn't matter what that fucker says.
Yeah.
He can say non-service connected all he wants. But I think what he was trying to do is that he was trying to list
discourage it.
He was trying to list his surgery and his injury as not being on orders for it.
Yeah.
It happened.
So ultimately, honestly, when you look at the medical documentation of when they got injured and when the orders are, it doesn't matter what the medical provider says. It's literally of when it was. It was clearly during the orders. The second part of it is what the event was that he was doing too.
Right.
So if he could have been on orders, but he was playing basketball or something, and it wasn't command PT. There's some chances he couldn't get.
I don't remember what it was, but anyway.
But I mean, that's one of the ways to where like it could potentially not become service connected. But like if you're on a fucking command hike, you're on orders, command function. Doesn't matter what the fucking dude says. It's gonna be service connected.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got to wrap this up because I got to leave soon.
Well, thanks for coming, First Sergeant. We appreciate it.
Yeah, Top. Like, thanks for coming, First Sergeant.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't.
Hell yeah, First Sergeant. I'm gonna put him in the thumbnail. And then I'm gonna tag GruntStyle in it.
You gotta get it. You gotta make it to where the title is like super catchy, or like people are gonna want to click on it.
I'll have to figure it out.
You have to get the algorithm.
I mean, I've been doing pretty good with the thumbnail game.
The thumbnail's been pretty. Yeah, I'm not worried about the thumbnail, but it's the title. That's the second part. A lot of people will have like, it's an intriguing title, and then it cuts off, and you're like, I gotta know more. So you have to click it to even get the rest of the title. You know what I'm saying?
I'll probably call it like First Sergeant disapproves of whatever.
The GruntStyle.
GruntStyle.
So GruntStyle, First Sergeant.
First Sergeant of GruntStyle's First Sergeant disapproves of.
You gotta put his name too. It's Tim.
I know it's Tim. I don't know if I want to put his full name because this is definitely not sanctioned by GruntStyle.
Doesn't matter.
I'll figure it out.
It's still his likeness.
I know. It's
his
funny.
person.
I like how like it kind of worked out with Nelson not being here. I was like, I thought last minute as you were getting ready to be here, I was like, I looked at Alicia and I was like, I'm gonna put fucking Tim in this. She's like, Tim, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get Tim's cut out and have the camera looking like aimed right at him.
Yeah, like GruntStyle's First Sergeant.
And even still, and if GruntStyle sees it, like that's where that went. That's where that cutout went.
Joins us for this week's episode.
Tim, CEO of GruntStyle, joins us this week on the Blacklisted Gaming Podcast to
I don't know if he's a CEO, honestly.
I could look that up.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. Well, anyway, guys, I appreciate you for joining us. I had to make this short and sweet because I have a couple of things to do. What? I noticed that. Yeah.
Is that drink water?
Swallow, repeat. Drink, change, swallow, repeat. Yeah. It's the Navy Creed, I think, right?
It's the Corman Creed.
Oh. Sounds a lot like the Navy Creed when you talk about the drink, change, swallow, repeat.
Well, you're thinking of Sailor's Creed. First of all, that doesn't mention it. This is the Navy's song.
You act like you're not.
It's Anchors Away that talks about the drinking. It's not the same. Our cock gobbling is just a national tradition. Okay.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Well, we love you. We appreciate you. And have a good rest of your week. Happy hump day. All right. Bye.
Zoom, 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 zoom. Is everybody happy? Cried the sergeant looking up. Our hero feebly answered yes, and then they stood him up. He jumped into the icy blast, his static line and hook, and he ain't gonna jump no more.